Hi there, I'm Sonia Davis, spiritual growth strategist, and you are very welcome here. These are my Wednesday wanderings in my local park, where I talk about a topic or a question that one of you maybe, has asked me this week. And today it's a big one. Today I'm going to talk about how do you navigate all the chaos that's going on in the world right now? What do you actually do? How can you stay centered and grounded and focused on lifting your energy when it feels like the world's falling apart, right? And it's such a huge topic. So we're going to dive into that right now. So if you look at what's happening in the world, I'm just going to walk around my park as we're doing this, and I might sit down along the way. We'll see where we go. So if you look at what's going on in the world right now, if you watch the news in particular, social media, any of those things, right? It's very easy to slip down a sort of rabbit hole of, oh my goodness, everything's terrible, everything's dreadful, everything's falling apart. What can we do? It can be really easy to slip into an energy and a feeling of despair and literally, well, that's it, there's no hope. We're all doomed. Everything's terrible. What can we do? There's nothing we can do. And that feeling of powerlessness and hopelessness is, that's not a good place to be, is it? The good news is there are things you can do about that. And I'm going to be talking through those. So bear with me, because this is a complex topic. So run with me along this as we go through all the nuances of it. And I will give you practical things that you can do to help you navigate these times. So let's just take a step back, shall we? Let's think about what's actually going on out there. Well, the reality is, as part of the ascension process, part of the astrology, part of all the energetic shifts and upgrades that are happening right now on our planet, everything that's going on right now is exactly as was predicted. And what you've got, and I'm not going to dive too much into the complexity of the astrology. If you want more on that, go and check out Pam Gregory. She's amazing when she talks about this stuff. But this year, particularly this month, I'm recording this on the 2nd of July 2025. This month in particular is going to be massive when it comes to change. When it comes to, well, I'll use the word revolution. For several millennia now, we have been inside a system that has been very top down, very much about power and control, very hierarchical. And for a long time we've had, I don't buy into the conspiracy stuff, but there have been this sort of almost shadowy figures behind the scenes controlling things, right? And we know, well, we see it now, don't we? We see the absurdity of it all. And there are people in the public arena who are doing things that we go, no, definitely not. That whole not in my name stuff, right? And when you see that stuff, it's really hard to feel positive. But that's what they want. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the actual impact of this stuff. So let me just be clear. If you are directly affected by some of the things that are going on in the world right now, living with climate disasters, floods, fires, whatever it may be, if you're directly impacted by discrimination and hate because that narrative has been whipped up, if you're directly impacted by war and unrest and violence and all of those things, then I am absolutely not dismissing the impact of those dreadful things on you, and you have all of my love and compassion. But there's nothing specific that as individuals we can do out there to change what's going on. Okay? Now bear with me on that, because that might seem slightly controversial, but that's kind of the point of where I'm coming to. There are things we can all do, but it's not out there, it's in here. And we can do things, there are practical things we can do, but they're in here. They come back to you on the inside. And I will talk through how you do that. Like I say, this is a big and complex topic, so you're going to have to bear with me a little on that. But if you're sitting watching, seeing what's going on, whether that's politically decisions that are being made, or in the climate wise, or any of those things, whatever it is, discrimination, hate, any of that stuff that's going on right now, you're being fed a narrative that is deliberately about fear. Because for as long as you stay scared, as long as you stay feeling despair, with fear, with anger, with a sense of hopelessness, all of those emotions and those energies are designed to keep you feeling stuck.
They are great. They really are.
Just pause there, walking past a group of people. There's a dog walkers in the park this morning, kids. It's a lovely, lovely morning actually. So when you see those things in the media, whether that's on social media, whether that's in the news, they're a very carefully curated narrative designed to promote the fear, promote the anger. Because for as long as you are angry, for as long as you are scared, for as long as you feel despair or hopelessness, you can't actually do anything to change things. Real revolution doesn't come from waving placards and marching in the street. Now look, if you do that thing, that's totally fine. I'm absolutely not saying don't do that stuff. If that's right for you, then you carry on. But there's also a huge, huge amount of really good stuff going on in the world as well. The problem is you don't hear about the good stuff. So the narrative that you're receiving is very, very unbalanced. And it's very much designed to keep you in that place of fear and despair and hopelessness and anger and all of those other things. And the way to navigate that is to tune out of that stuff. And now, I haven't watched the news for over 2 years. I used to be completely immersed in it. I was a senior leader in local government. I was part of the system, let's be honest. I had to be. I hated it. It's one of the main reasons I left. I couldn't work inside that system anymore. It was so misaligned with me and my values. But if you switch off from that news, from that feed, from the inputs that you're getting into you, you will notice that your energy starts to change. And you'll start to see different things. And that's the point. Because when you see different things, let's go this way. When you see different things, you get different things appearing into your energy. and your energy shifts. And when you do that, you find your response to those things changes as well. And it becomes a more positive energy. And that's really the point of all of this. Because when you come from a place of positivity, love, joy, solidity within yourself, you actually take your power back. When you're giving your energy to things like anger, fear, despair, all of those things, your energy is feeding the things that are creating that fear and anger and despair and all of those other nasty things. So when you bring your power back to you, which is really what it's all about, you stop feeding that stuff. You stop being fed by that stuff. It's like a cycle, it's like a loop that stops feeding each other. And that is where the power lies, and that's how you make a difference. So, let's get a bit more specific on that. It's very easy to feel like there's nothing else that we can do. What can we do other than jump up and down in the streets and wave placards and shout slogans and all the things? Actually, what we can do is come back to ourselves. So if you come back to you, and I'll talk about that in a sec, just bear with me. You come back to you, you bring your power back into yourself, you are then able to actually become the change. So here's the thing. Revolution doesn't come waving a placard. Change doesn't happen. I'm going to sit on this bench here. Change doesn't happen when you shout and get angry. Change happens when you take your power back into yourself. Change happens when you meet situations, difficult situations, with love and with joy. And when that's the energy that you spend out into the world. That's what you put out there. So how do you actually do that? Let's get practical here. So, the first thing is really start paying attention to where you put your energy. What do you allow into your energy field? So that might be things like switching off from watching the news. Do you know, it's interesting. I have this conversation with my husband because I haven't watched the news for about 2.5 years since I left my corporate job. But he does, on occasion, not all the time, but on occasion. And there's a tangible difference in his energy when he watches news versus when he doesn't. It's completely different. His whole mindset and attitude to the world and his work and his life completely changes. And it's really fascinating. And I've kept an eye on it, and and we have debates about that. And there's a sense of, if you switch off from the news, it doesn't mean you're burying your head in the sand and ignoring what's going on. It's not that at all. Trust me, I haven't watched news for 2.5 years, and I've still got a good sense of what's going on out there, right? We don't live in a vacuum. But when you stop yourself actually consuming the stuff and it's being fed to you that says, here's all this really bad stuff, and you go, oh, that doesn't feel nice. When you stop that, you cut off the flow like a dripping tap. You stop the sink filling up. And you go, hang on a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, look, that's that amazing thing happening over there. Oh, wow, look at that thing over there. That's great. I never knew about that. I read a story just a few days ago about a multi-billionaire. Never, ever heard of the guy. He's not British, he's European, who actually bought a chunk of the Amazon rainforest and bought the logging company that owned the rights to it and shut it all down. So he protected that forest. Had you heard about that on the news? Or had you heard about the absolute despair and gloom and devastation that's going on out in the world? That's the point. The good stuff that's going on doesn't appear on the news or in your social media feed, because that doesn't, it's not clickbait, frankly. It doesn't sell stories. People love drama and excitement, don't they? But actually, when you stop looking at the fear and the devastation, you actually see there's so much amazing stuff going on out there. There's loads to be hopeful about. So what can you actually do to make a difference? And this is where it's about you. It all comes back to you. Revolution is not about jumping up and down in the streets and demanding change. Revolution comes from quietly disconnecting and creating the change and becoming the change yourself. So when you take your power back, what does that actually mean? That means not feeding with your energy into those things that are creating the fear and perpetuating the fear. When you switch off from it, you cut off their energy supply. And the more people that cut off from that, the less people feed that, the less they're able to sustain it. The more you... So how do you take your power back? Let's go into that. Ultimately, everything comes down to love and joy. And you find that in here, and it starts inside you. When you get to a place that you love yourself, believe in yourself, feel grounded and solid in yourself, you know your worth, you know your value, and nothing's going to shake that. You don't look for validation outside. You're happy sitting in the park, talking into your phone, hugging trees with people walking past, giving you weird looks, like I'm doing literally doing right now. That guy just walked past, was like, okay. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because me talking to you is more important than what that person thinks who's never met me before. When you get to that place, that's you taking your power back. When you have your power back within you, that's when you start being able to make a difference, because that's when you shine your light brighter out in the world. Now, there are practical things you can do as well. Now, if you want to help, I don't know, whatever it is, cause that matters to you, whether it's victims of war, whether it's climate change, whether it's discrimination and hate and all of those things. I mean, take your pick, right? There's a lot out there. If you want to make a difference, let's be honest, sending money to charities, how do you know it's ever going to get to those people? Because there are people I'm not accusing charities of corruption, by the way, but there are systems, there are governments in the way of people being able to distribute the aid, the money, whatever, effectively. So you don't know that that's ever going to get through. So that doesn't really work, does it? Standing, waving, shouting slogans and waving placards doesn't really make a difference. Violence met with violence really doesn't help anything. That just feeds the cycle of violence and makes it worse. Discrimination, that just perpetuates more discrimination. And actually, the power comes from us not hating each other, because as long as we're hating on each other, for whatever reason it may be, for as long as we're creating hate for each other, we're not coming together in community, and that's where the strength lies. But the start of that comes from you. So when you come to yourself and you believe in yourself and you value yourself and you love yourself, you find yourself almost filling up with this beautiful love and joy energy. Trust me on this, it's exactly where I'm at now. That's why I'm doing the work I do, because I want to help other people reach this place, because it's just incredible. And when you get to this point, you have so much available to give. You want to share it with the world, and that's how you make the difference. So when you get to that place of absolutely loving and trusting in yourself, not looking outside yourself for validation, not giving everything to everyone else first and not worrying about you. Hello, people pleasers, I'm talking to you. When you feed yourself first and you nourish yourself, mind, body and soul, you take your power back. And that's not about being selfish, that's about filling yourself first so then you have more to give. Okay? It really is, it's like the more you bring back into yourself, it's the opposite of selfishness, because you have so much more available to give to people because you're not depleted. You can give more. You're draining your last drop of energy out to give to people. That's not great. But when you're so full of love and joy and gratitude and all those other beautiful things, it overflows and it's just available and you spread it out happily. There's practical things you can do. You can send love to other people. You can come together in community. You can have interesting debates with people who are different from you and celebrate the uniqueness of each other. That's where we start to unpick the hatred and discrimination piece. We stop judging people because they're different and we actually learn to understand what those points of difference are and celebrate them and go, isn't it amazing? We're not all clones of each other and we're all unique and different. That's where it happens. When you come back into yourself with love and compassion and joy, you start to meet the rest of the world with love and compassion and joy. And that's how we change it. That's how the world shifts. That's where the revolution comes. That's where we reach out a hand to a neighbour that we might have never spoken to before and say, are you okay? I'm here to help. That's where you stop focusing on the fact that that person is different to you, loves the wrong kind of person in your view. No, it's love. Love is love. Doesn't matter who they are. Looks the wrong way, has the wrong colour skin, is the wrong age, whatever the labels are that they try to create and keep that division in place. When you come from a place of love, you start to approach other people even if you have previously judged them. And that's okay, forgive yourself for that. But take yourself to a place where you love yourself. You then have love for those people as well. And you go, actually, I'm going to take a moment just to understand you and understand your life and ask questions and come from it from a place of love and understanding. And then we get into the energy of it. So if you're using your energy, if you're playing with energetics the way, I mean, I certainly do all the time. If you're using your energy field to do good in the world, then that is powerful. That really is what makes a change. I definitely recommend, if you want to do something tangible for the people who are suffering right now, for the people who are facing all the dreadful things out there in whatever type of dreadfulness there is, I really recommend, Pam Gregory has created a sort of 15-minute daily meditation practice that you could do where you send out loving energy to the whole world and to people that need it, and it's love and healing and compassion for everyone, and it's making a difference already. If you want the details of that, just let me know, or go and have a look on Pam Gregory's YouTube channel. She's amazing, and she does this 15-minute meditation for peace. And there's no Zoom or anything, it's just you send your energy out in a particular way, and she describes it really well. And it's every day at 7 o'clock UK time. And you just get involved and you just take 15 minutes to send your love and compassion out there. And the more people do it, it's like a network of light joining up together. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to be part of. And you start to feel that network of light and love glowing around the planet. So get involved with that if that's something tangible you can do. But really, it all comes back to you. It comes back to you being in your own power, not giving it away to the noise and the fear, the people standing with their megaphones on the street corner, shouting about all the doom and gloom and trying to get your attention. It's a distraction. because there's so much beauty in the world right now. There really is, even if it doesn't feel like it. Honestly, I'm sitting in this beautiful park here. I mean, it's gorgeous. You can see a bit of it, but look, let's just have a little look around. Look, I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful spot. And I'm outdoors in nature, and I'm keeping the simple things in life important. And being in nature is one of those. It absolutely is. And it's finding the things that give you joy and bring you joy, and letting yourself be in your power, in your love, in your joy. That's what it's about. That's how we change the world. That's how the revolution happens. Because when you take your power back, you stop feeding the energy of the negative stuff, of the hatred, of the fear-mongering, of the drama and all the noise, and you start to come from a place of love, and you have more love to give, which then spreads out and has a ripple effect around the world. And the more of us that do that, the more impact we will have. That's part of my mission, is to help you get to that place. So if you do want some help with that, with getting yourself to a place of joy, then drop me a message. I'd love to have a chat with you, because there's loads of ways I can help, because that is my mission now. That's why I'm sharing these messages, because I want to help you move beyond the old ways of being, the old paradigms, the old structures, the old methods of fear and despair and control and anger and hatred. And I want you to get to a place where you genuinely feel joy running through your core. It's your foundation block. And with joy and love, we will literally change the world. And I want to help you get there. So drop me a message if you want to know more about that. Or comment below this. I feel like I've rambled. It's a big topic. It's a really big topic. But I want you to know that you don't have to feel despair, and you don't have to feel, I'm going to say, you don't have to feel anger. That sounds like I'm negating the anger that you feel, and that's not what this is about. This is about, because emotions are there for a reason, and that's okay. But this is about starting to bring your power back to you, so that you're not being influenced by other people's views of what you should see and what you should think. And you start to curate your own inputs. You start to change the things that you see that feed your energy, so you change, and therefore you have more to put out into the world, coming from a place of love and joy and abundance and gratitude, because this world is a beautiful place. Despite what you might be seeing right now, it really, really is. It's got you in it for a start. How beautiful is that? Genuinely, it really is. So thank you for being here. I'm absolutely celebrating you being here on my channel right now, listening to me. I mean, I don't know who watches these. I don't know who will watch this in future, because once it's uploaded, it's there, well, forever, unless I decide to take the site down. I have no plans to do that in the next 10, 15 years at least. So it's probably there forever. And actually, I am sending you so much love and joy and gratitude and abundance and appreciation right now, because that's the energy from that the universe wants us to have, and that's what's going on. And that's what, even though this month, July, is likely to be full of turmoil, full of chaos, full of noise, the more you're able to come back to yourself and the truth of you and who you are underneath all the layers, in your soul, who you are, the more you connect with that, the better you will navigate these times, and the more you will help to change the world with a revolution of joy and love, because that's what it's about. And I'm celebrating that in you, because I see it there in you. I genuinely do. And I'm sending you more joy and more love right now, from my heart to yours. If this has resonated with you, do let me know. You can drop a comment below. Please do like this video. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, because it really does make a difference to how many people see this message. But yeah, I'm going to go and hug my favourite tree, and I'll leave it there for today. But I'm sending you so much love. Please don't despair. Please don't fear. It's all going to be beautiful, and there will be love and joy in the world. I promise you. There already is. It's just tapping into it. Take care, and I'm sending you so much love.